Welcome to the Path Podcast, where we will travel the lives of some bold women, from dreams to detours to destiny. She did not choose this path chose her. This is the Path Podcast. Welcome back, Path listeners. Thank you to all who continue to come in and sit with your sister, your motivator, your confidence builder, the one who believes that purpose is bigger than obstacles. And with some of the boldest women in this game called life. Path listeners, I want to ask you a question. Have you ever felt like you are fighting life, or that life is just happening to you? You feel like so much keeps happening, it's hard to relax, like you're swimming against the current. These are not the words of my guest. These are just some of the words I thought of when I read her story that I sat in awe of. When you hear that saying that you don't look like what you've been through, that statement describes my guest today. This bold woman and I attend the same church that we will get into a little bit later. I'm sure she will bring this up. We don't know each other personally. I know her face because if you know her, she's a person who serves, which you will hear a whole lot about in this show. We have mutual friends, so I knew I wanted this person on my show because of her organization entitled Tickled Past Pink Foundation Incorporated. It's for women and men who are breast cancer survivors. My guest, everyone, today is Maxine McDaniel. I want to share with you some of the things I know I saw when I read some of her story. The path she has a path of a survivor. She's a thriver, as she says. I say she's a fighter, not only from breast cancer, but in life. She's an entrepreneur who I just found out who has worked with so many people in the entertainment industry. As I love to say, I won't tell it all because it's not my story to tell. Path listeners, help me welcome in our sister, Miss Maxine McDaniel. Hello, Maxine. How are you today?
I am just fine.
I am so excited to have you on the show. Everyone, let me tell you, Maxine and I could have recorded this show by now because we had an hour of talking before the podcast even started recording. When I tell you you're in for, don't want to say the treat of her story, but a treat because of how she came through everything, you'll learn so much from her. And all she's doing, you will understand why. So Maxine, on the show, I love to always ask the signature question I ask every guest. Tell me first a little bit about yourself. Tell me about Maxine.
I am the child of Willie and Louise Simmons, and I have 7 sisters and 2 brothers. There are 8 of us are still living. I lost one 3 years ago to the same thing that I've gone through, breast cancer. And my family has gone through a lot of cancer. We have, out of all of us, my brothers and sisters, only one of us have not had some form of cancer. Cancer is very rampant in my family, which is one of the reasons I wanted to start a foundation to help find a cure, not only to just find a cure, but help provide support to breast cancer survivors, both men and women, of course.
Both men and women. Well, great. So I'm sure it's a lot that we will hear more about her throughout the show, because again, like I said, her resume is long. Tell me about the younger Maxine, the one who thought she had life all figured out. What were some of your hopes and dreams, and are you doing that today?
I think I am carrying out even more than I could even hope for when I was younger.
Oh, wow.
I was very athletic, and the one thing that I loved a whole lot was I played softball. I coached softball for about 23 years. I also bowled, and
Uh-huh.
I did pretty good. And I have bowled in every state of the United States except 8.
Oh, really?
Yes, I love the game of bowling. And I had to stop, of course, in January of 2010.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, 2011,
Mm-hmm.
because I messed up my knees and everything. But I still like it. I still love the game, but I
Mm-hmm.
can no longer do it. But I instead, after I had that surgery, I ended up with breast cancer. So I
Mm.
have devoted all of my time to serving breast cancer survivors, and I have a heart for the seniors, and so I still do senior care whenever I
Mm-hmm.
can.
Wow. So okay, I'm gonna go back to some of, like you said, were you bowling at a very young age? I mean, even middle.
No, not I didn't see, you got to understand that a lot of the, yeah, there were bowling centers when I was little, but
Yes.
a lot of us had to go in the back door. You didn't go in the front door of bowling centers back then.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so
So,
when I got involved, I ended up I served on the board of directors for the
mhm.
Greater Atlanta Women's Bowling Association for several years.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, so I got really involved.
Yes.
But no, the younger Maxine was I finished school at 16, going on
Mhm.
17,
Mhm.
and I started out um doing thinking I was going to end up going to Baltimore Institute. But anyway, I was working for a while for I started working even before I was
Mhm.
working for the government even before I was 18.
Mhm. Mhm.
And so I was working for IRS, and I continued to work for IRS in DC. And then
Mhm.
I ended up getting married and having my son, and
Yes.
the rest is history.
Yes.
I am from the great state of Maryland, and
Yes.
my husband at the time was stationed in Maryland, the same place that my father was stationed prior to that. And
Wow.
so when he got out of service, we moved to Atlanta.
Mhm. Mhm.
And I then came here, and I started to work with Equifax.
Mhm.
I worked for Equifax almost 10 years, not quite 10, but
Oh,
almost 10.
really?
And then I worked for IRS, and I also worked for Philips Medical, the same Philips with light bulbs, with electronics, with all of that. I've had some very good jobs, very great jobs that I really, really loved having. And it gave me a lot of good experience.
Uh-huh.
Um, the only thing was that I thought that I would remain young forever and not have any aches or pains or anything in my body, and not worry about that.
Mhm.
And then I got involved in with helping the seniors all over town, and
Mhm.
that's how I actually got into producing. I didn't
Yes.
even realize that what I was doing was producing,
Yes.
and I did. So I ended up start doing comedy shows all over
Uh-huh.
the country. Really, we've done them everywhere.
Yes. Yes.
Just finished one in Virginia in the first of the year. But my next big show is going to be in October.
In October. Okay.
In October, and we're bringing some of the number one comedians to town. And I
Yeah.
don't want to say any more because I have not sent out their contracts yet.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, you can't say no names. I understand
no,
that part.
I can't say the names. But we are always looking for sponsorships for these shows, and the proceeds of all these go to breast cancer.
Oh,
So
wonderful.
that's the one good thing about it, that we have been able to help
Yes.
so many people,
Yes.
and they have, and we've received everything back, because the more we have been given, the more we've been doing, more people have reached out to us
Yes.
and say, hey, I want to help you, I want to do this. And so
Mhm.
I thank God for having a great organization, for a great board of
Mhm.
directors,
Mhm.
and just having the people that I work with, and having the support of my church
Of
with
course.
my great pastor, and I
Mhm.
have to shout him out,
Yes.
Jesse Kearney III, his wife, First Lady Alina Kearney,
Yes.
and for all of the members that are there that support us, and the business owners. that support us and recognize that we don't have a cure for this yet, and we're probably a long way from one, but we can help keep making, I work some with making strides against breast cancer, and our donations go and help them. Our donations go and help the community, and we do a lot of the fundraisers so that we can not only help ourselves, we partner with other foundations like the domestic violence one and different foundations so that we can help each other. So we cannot do this by ourselves. So we know that everything that we do, our blessings comes from serving.
Yes.
And if we're not there to reach out to our brothers or our sisters in need, then we're not going to get anything either. And so that's one of the things that I make sure that we help. We have a couple of sister foundations called My Style Matters with Tia Tomlin is the director, and April Smith of the Survivors Nest.
Yes.
Those are our sister foundations, and they support us and we support them. And so that is why on June the 11th, we are having a paint party. And that paint party is for 100 breast cancer survivors.
Wonderful.
And we bring them, we do this every year for the survivors. Some of them have just finished chemo. Some of them are still going through chemo and radiation and other treatments. And we bring them in and allow them to have a paint party, give them some entertainment, and give them a free dinner and gifts and door prizes. So they love it. We've been doing this for the last probably 5 years.
Wonderful. And that paint party is in June?
Yes, it is in June. This one is in Snellville, Georgia. It's at the Center Stage Event Center.
Let me tell everyone out there, she is that person. This show is for us to hear about her, but as you will hear, Maxine is going to give everybody else she's going to bless everybody else by talking about them, because she's so humbled, as I've learned from getting to know her. She knows it's just not one person. She may be the face of Tickled Past Pink, but she knows it takes a village of other like-minded people, her and how she supports other groups, like she said, and they do the same for her. So she's going to give that to everyone else. And I'm going to go ahead with her, since she shout out our pastor and our first lady, Pastor Jesse Kearney III, and our beautiful first lady, Elena Kearney, that I've been at the church like 17 years, Maxine. So one of those people that came in, I wanted to move. I was at New Birth. I wanted to move. Soon as I heard he was leaving, and I had to pray about it, because I tried not to jump churches, because I've only been to New Birth for a few years. But I had to pray about it. It was like, Lord, can I leave? And I would visit. I didn't leave right away, but I'm like, can I leave? Because his church is closer to home. And because I joined New Birth and Pastor Kearney preached one Sunday. That's the ironic part. And so I knew I belonged at New Mercy. And I'm thankful for that New Mercy's family and all that, the vision that he's given our pastor, of course. So I had to bring that party in too and say that. And everyone, again, you see the wide experience that Maxine brings to the table. And we're going to get more in depth in all of this soon. But did you find out that name, the location? You said that you have a paint party coming up in June. The
location is Center Stage Event Center, and it's in Snellville. It's actually right across the street from the Snellville City Hall. And the owner is a young Black female, and I wanted to give her a shout out because her name is Sonia Sims.
Sonia Sims. And sometimes I
put Mims. M-I-M-S.
Okay.
Mims.
Okay. I may ask you for that again.
I just wanted, right. And she's just getting started. Her business had just opened in November of 2021. And she's opening up her space so that we can come in and just celebrate the breast cancer survivors.
Wonderful. So what I'll do too at the end of the show, because you and I both have that heart for mentioning, when we mention people, I'm learning to put their names in parts of the show to say these are, we mentioned this company. So, at least we can put it out there. So, but let me ask you this, Maxine, before we jump still into all the work, even before Tickled Pink, past Pink, I still want to go through some of the things to let everybody understand that this woman has been a woman who's been through some things in life. You had something in your bio where you wrote that you were robbed at gunpoint.
Right.
And only by some miracle, you felt like your life was spared. Tell us about that time and
I was at work. I was at work. I did sales marketing for a bowling center.
Yes.
And I was there, and the guy came in. And when he came in, he said, "You know what I'm here for?" And I was like, "What?" Just like that, knowing that, and he had the gun, of course, and he had a mask on. And I was looking down, at his feet and everywhere else, and he asked me to open the drawer. Well, the center has two sets of registers. They had one where they had the snack bar, and the person at the snack bar had already closed out and bought me their tray and brought me there, and I just put it up under the counter so that when I closed, that I would take both of them to the safe. And so I told him, he said, "Well, can you open the drawer?" And I said, "No, I can't open it." I said, "But because we're closing." And he said, I said, "But it's already out. It's no money in the drawer. It's already out. It's sitting down here." And he said, "Oh," and reached down and got that drawer, which we had already cleaned. He didn't realize that that's what we did.
Yeah.
But
Of course.
it was only like some change, loose change, and I think like maybe $120 in there or something like that. So he didn't realize. So he never actually got the real money of the place. And and he got it. He said, "Oh, okay," and got it and just ran out the door with it.
Yeah.
And I'm looking like, you should have known it was more money than that. But okay, I'm saying to myself, the good thing was that luckily the two guys that was on the lanes behind me, they could see. They are all police officers. They were the DeKalb County police officers. And they were saying to me, "Just do what he say. Just, don't move. Just do." And I could hear them talking to me. And so I had my arms in the air, and I was like, okay, I never moved. I never, when he took everything. And he just took the small drawer because he thought that was the drawer we took out.
Yeah.
But he ran off with it and he thought he had something. Yes. So he spared my life. So
Amen
I said then, okay, this is enough. I was doing sales. Most of my background is sales and marketing.
Oh, okay.
Right. So everybody teased me at church. "You always asking for something." I said, "No, I'm not soliciting." It's called creative marketing.
It's creative marketing. And and I know that world not as well as you do, but I've heard enough about marketing and sales, especially. I work in the company I work in now. I'm on the sales team. So
so sales, that's all I've done all my life. I did the same for Equifax. I did sit behind a desk, but I had like 50 some employees that worked for me, but I traveled and and it's an unusual thing that I did for Equifax because they were big sponsors of American Heart. And so I traveled for them promoting American Heart.
Wonderful.
And and so you would think that I would have done something else, but that's what I did for them. So I as I said, I've always had good jobs. I've never had a job that I did not like.
Okay, that's another show, everybody. So a lot of things follow that, huh? which we're going to get into, a lot of things happen to test you. You feel like, not test God. I won't say he tests us, but yeah, well, he does test us sometimes.
Well,
right?
yes, he does.
Yeah, he
test
does
us.
test
Yes,
us.
because I was like, look, I'm tired of this life. I always hated being single.
Yeah.
I always hated that. I didn't like that.
Yes.
It's not that I couldn't find a man or whatever, just they got on my nerves,
Yeah.
And and I
Yes.
was like, no,
This ain't for
this is
me.
not what I want either,
Mm-mm.
And so that's why I bowled all the time. I did sports and stuff because it was fun.
Because okay.
And I didn't have to worry about it.
Mhm.
Didn't have to worry about that.
Okay.
But I knew there was other things in life. But I went to New Birth, like you said, I went to New Birth for 10 years.
Yeah.
And then when Pastor Kearney came, of course, when I moved closer to, which was the only reason, because I love New Birth.
Yes.
I love Bishop Long.
Yes.
So I was one of those people that when Pastor Kearney came, I said, I got to go over there.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's when I went and I joined, of course.
Yes.
So
that's a beautiful
I
thing.
have all 20 years put in.
And
yeah, I remember when we first started, and because I started on ushering, started ushering, I've been serving ever since. I mean, as I said, I just don't know any other way
but to serve.
But to serve. But I mean, it was not without its challenges.
Of course.
It was definitely
That's life.
because that's when my husband and I had just gotten back together a week before New Mercy started.
Oh, really?
And yeah, it was a week before New Mercy started. And that was in May. And then in October is when he had the massive heart attack.
Let me ask you this here before you say that, because I want just people to hear this one part. Not that I don't want to go into anything. Everyone, she said, and I'm just going to read off her paperwork. She said she and her husband had just got back together. They were married 23 years before, and y'all separated, divorced, and then you got back together, and now you've been together for 20 years. That's added to those 20. Everybody, I always love to say, don't think you cannot make if it's ordained by God, I'll say, or if it's right, it can come back together. I just wanted to give somebody that hope out there. If you feeling and believing and God doesn't move in your timing, because trust me, he does not move in our timing.
It's his timing.
It's going to be his timing. So I just wanted to encourage somebody out there and do the work. And if you can just pray for him or pray for her, but I just didn't want to go past that. I'll pick back up where you were. You said, of course, y'all just got back together, and then some other things started happening.
We just got back together in April of that year, and then in October, he had a massive heart attack, and I'm like, come on, God, this is not funny.
Yes.
I told you we were going to do all right, and he said he was going to act right, so I know this is not, come on now. Yes. And, I even really jokingly, but I wasn't joking. Well, something must be wrong because you must have did something because it wasn't me, because I'm living right, So
you were trying to really walk that path the right way, right?
Right. Not realizing that it was just God's way of saying, hey, okay, y'all say y'all gonna do this, I'm gonna see. And he sure tested us. He tested us. He really did.
Wow.
So my husband got back well and was doing just fine, went back to work. And I mean, it was 8 months later, he was having to have another stent. I was like, wow. Okay.
Wow.
God, apparently you didn't hear me. I said we were going to act right. We're going to do right. We're going to, and I'm jokingly, but we made it through that too.
Yes. But you know what they always say though, Maxine, we think, and I've heard Pastor Kearney say this, but we feel like just because we're Christians and trying to walk the right way, that things won't happen. They said that's the time when the devil really comes in. You just really say, okay.
Yeah. I realized in all these years that we have probably really made the devil. I mean, he probably just could throw rocks at our house now.
That's why.
I mean, I'm sure he could.
He's like, y'all walking a little too straight for me.
Yeah, we're standing firm on this foundation. Yes. I don't care. There's nothing that's going to come and cause any problems. We're standing firm on this. We worked too hard to get here. I mean, even when he they pulled me out of the car, and they had to cut me out with the jaws of life or whatever they call it, and they were putting me in the ambulance. I wasn't afraid that I was gonna die or anything. I was just saying, God, you remember that other time you did, then I went back to all that stuff that we went through.
Yes.
And now you did not put me and take me through all that
Take
to
me.
just leave me out here now,
Exactly.
you know.
And everyone, let me tell you,
So
Maxine is talking about something that happened just in 2021 with a major accident that she was blindsided and hit just recently. That was June, you said, or June, July of
August,
August.
I'm sorry, July 24th, July
Yeah.
24th. Yeah, they T-boned me and totaled my car. And I mean, both doors, they pushed me into another car that pushed that car. So it ended up being like a 3-car
Yes.
accident.
Mhm.
And if anybody had been on the other side, they would have been crushed because it was pushed me between 2
Oh my
cars.
God.
But I am here,
Yes.
and I know that there is some reason
Yes.
that I should be here.
Yes. Because we got to think about it. We already
So
talked the gunshot wound, the major accident that just recently from last year, the we in which we need to get into the major part of the show, Tickled Past Pink and all of that, going through so much even with your husband, and she talked about the different um things he had to go through. And she even said it was a third one, but she said she has a bionic man. So we thank God he is doing well to this day. But as we get into you starting your foundation, Tickled Past Pink and
mhm,
Foundation, tell me again, you said that cancer ran unfortunately through your family, out of all of your siblings except one. Tell me, is when did you first notice heard the word cancer where you understood somewhat what it meant? Was it when your mother was diagnosed or passed with it?
yes, my trauma, and I guess I do need a documentary, but my aunt, which is my
Mhm,
mother's sister, had
mhm.
passed, and then my mother passed like within 7 days of the time that my aunt
No.
passed. And after my mother
Mhm.
passed, her other sister, my other aunt, passed within 3 days of my mother's
Really?
death. So we lost, yes, we lost 3 of them within like 9 days, I would say. So yeah, so it was very, very
Yes, that
traumatic.
is.
Uh, just that
Mhm.
time, and knowing that but my sisters, and then my sister's daughter, my nieces, and she was very young. She wasn't even 40, I don't think, and she had cancer, and then it spread to her. She had breast
Mm.
cancer, which spread, and then they had to take out one of her bones in
Oh,
her back,
really?
where it had spread. Yeah, and so that's why I said, so cancer itself, our family, we're all very, very concerned, and we're all very health
Mhm, mhm.
conscious. And it it was it happened to so many
Mhm.
of us, but at the time I first wrote that story for the magazine, my sister was living, but then since that time, my sister passed 3 years ago of
I'm
breast
sorry to
cancer.
hear
That
that.
was, and it came back for a third time for her. She had a very
Mhm.
hard time. But I have cousins that are breast cancer survivors. It does run very rampant in
Mhm.
our
Mhm.
family. But in addition to just the breast cancer, I have a sister and a brother who had throat cancer. I have another sister who had ovarian
Mhm.
cancer, who had another one had oh, where was hers? We've had so
Mhm.
much in our family, to I think it's just brought us
Of
closer.
course.
We learned to look after
Mhm.
each other, and but we all they all help
Yes,
support me with the breast cancer foundation, because they realize how
it is.
important it is,
Yes.
and the work that we do and the things that we do. And now we don't just support the people in our area or like local, just Atlanta. When they had the storms in Houston, they had some of the breast cancer survivors that needed help. We sent funds to there. Every time there's any kind of catastrophe or whatever, we send funds
different
to
places.
help, if nothing else, to different places. So I am really, really, really blessed when it comes to having. That's why you say I keep mentioning all these names, but
it is important. I agree
because
with it.
I don't want them to think that their work and the things that they donate and the things that they do, even during COVID, last year, and the year before, prior to that, one of the biggest companies that helped with the COVID was Fisher Scientific.
Really?
Yeah, and they were they made the little containers that the vaccine come in.
Really? Oh, wonderful. So
yeah, and it just so happened that the new president last year of Fisher, is a member of New Mercies,
really?
Michael Dubose, and he is a very, very great humanitarian. He gives to the scholarships for the children. He gives to a lot. But when he knew last year, when I was like, oh, I don't think I'm gonna be able to have this show because we're doing, I don't know how we're gonna make it. And he said, Maxine, tell me how much you need. My company will donate. And they did donate toward, because they understand cancer and all that. So they donated to us. So I'm grateful. I'm thankful. I have to call names, but I want you to see that it's like a puzzle. Everybody has to put a piece in to make this thing right and make it work. Amen. And these people have really reached out and helped to
do
help
more work,
grow the foundation, to do more work and to support more. And we just keep doing it. We have people that just need gas for the car just to get, and now it's really rough. To get places. And so we do that because they're not working right now. When they do go back to work, sometimes people need new clothes, and we help them with that. We help a lot of what we call, there's one of the groups that we help, they do grandparenting, and we help them with these children whose mothers have had breast cancer and have passed on.
Exactly.
So
but let me tell you, to the importance of what you just said, because I didn't know this. I was talking to a young lady still in the midst of still fighting her breast cancer, and beautiful young lady. And she, took pictures, and she was just really, really out there, and she had already had a double mastectomy. And so she was supposed to come on the show, but she told me, give her some time. She was going to go take a break for a minute from, unplug, because she also was, just needed to rest. And then she had some appointments she had to do, because she would travel back to Atlanta to one of the hospitals here. And she even told me, to your point, that she would help one of her friends at some point, because they didn't have money for gas, or they didn't have places to stay to go to certain places, because she said this one young lady wasn't going to her appointments because she didn't have a place to stay.
Right.
And it broke my heart.
We have sometimes they need to stay overnight. Say if they come up to Emory or somewhere and they live, but they live
South Carolina,
in
this lady.
maybe Lincoln or something. Yeah, right. Then they'll have to have hotel rooms. So we provide resources for that. And those are the kinds of things that we do. And the good thing is that, and I was talking about our partners, each one of us do something different in the world of breast cancer. Like I was talking about April Smith with the Survivor's Nest. Hers is holistic. Hers is all natural,
which
and
is
she
necessary.
Talks about all that, and she gives baskets of natural items away to survivors, because she that's what she believes, and that's what works for people. And so I've used a lot of her products, and they're very good. And so she formed another company out of that called Naughty by Nature, and she has all kinds of natural products for anybody that's a survivor, not just a survivor, but anybody, for everybody. But they are right there by my side helping me. I'm right there by her side helping her. So the more foundations,
the
the
better.
better. Because the one thing that we all know is that even though there's the big foundations like Susan G. Komen and all them, they can put all the commercials on TV they want. But when it comes to people of our
Yes.
color, we don't get
Yes.
as much. We don't get the resources. So that's why we're out there trying to help raise. And even during the pandemic, I must say to our people, I must say thank you, because you would have thought through this pandemic that people would not have as much to give, but they have been giving twice as much. And I thank them for that, because without it, I mean, there are so many people that would not eat. I mean, we take food boxes. And the good thing is that we're connected with the food pantry.
Yes.
At New Mercies has a great Mercy Seed food pantry, so which I'm a part of, and we make sure that they get to eat. So there is not anything, and if we don't have it, guess what? There's other foundations that we can go to. There's another great foundation called Sisters by Choice. That's the one that I call them the big girls, because that's the one that Monica Kaufman, Jaquita Moore, all of the
been in the news.
all of the newscasters and things, and they have a lot of resources that we don't have. And every time I have ever had to call them and say, hey, we're at wit's end here. We don't have any more money. Can y'all get this person and help them with their mammogram and help them get their mammogram? And they have never said no.
That's wonderful.
They always say, because they actually have a clinic down in Lithonia that, so that's resources that people need to know about. There's never anybody, whatever color they are, whatever the culture is, they should never have to be without being able to get their mammogram.
Of course, no one.
There's a lot of resources out here. Right. And so we just try to help. Now, they're at New Mercies. We cover ours. I know we cover all of our members at New Mercies. Whenever there's somebody new or somebody to come up that has just been diagnosed, that a lot of them we don't know about, well, the church will call and they'll say, Sister Maxine, here's this person. Can you reach out to them or whatever? And sure, we do. And so we take care of our own, but we take care of so many others too.
As we should. And that's you're the foot soldier for God.
That's that part that I'm talking about. If your blessing comes from serving, because sometimes when you sit down and you think, oh boy, how are we going to do this? And the phone will ring. And you be like, as I say, I always look up and say, thank you, God. Thank you, God.
Yeah. He said, well, you're doing your part, your family and your siblings, even today, and all your family, like you said. I know they're proud. Are proud of you. So let me ask you this. Tell me about what made you think, why the name Tickled Past Pink? How did that name come about for the organization?
Well, we had to research the name. And first it was going to be called Tickled Pink. So we thought that was a good name and a great name, and once we did the research, we found that another company had that name already. Another organization had that name. And so, and here I go shouting out again, but my graphic designer, of course, is New Mercy's graphic designer, Tasha Smith.
Hey, Tasha.
She said, well, Miss Maxine, she said, Miss Maxine, instead of that name, she said, I said, but I like that name. And she said, well, why don't we, because see, you already had cancer and you getting past that. Why don't you call it Tickled Past Pink? And I said, yeah. She said, because you're trying to get past that and you going past that. And I said, you know what, Tasha, you're right. So we'll call it Tickled Past. So that's how the name Tickled. So when we sent it in, you know how you have to check, research the name to make sure that it was okay. They sent back and said that, we could use that name. And
love it. But it's a great idea of the point of why.
And so Tasha designed my business cards that I sent you, the
Mhm.
front and the back. Tasha did all of that. She designed them.
Love it.
And I've gotten nothing but great compliments on her work, and I highly recommend her to anybody. And I always do. I'm always on Facebook saying you should
Yes.
use her. You should use her. So she's like my second
And I
daughter too.
loved
So
me
she
some
called me
Tasha
mommy.
too. And let me tell you what's so funny. If Tasha
Yeah.
ever listens to this, I have another, it's just a social media, not just, but it's a social media platform because I've always wanted to work with women. I love encouraging, motivating, like I said in the beginning of the podcast, women. She did one for me that's called, I have a social media on page on Facebook called My Sister's Alabaster Box. I just wanted that page still is too about encouraging and motivating and just bringing positivity to women because we go through so much. But yes, so shout out to Tasha, and I would recommend her highly too as a person. And
Yeah, she named the foundation, and she always, whatever I need her to do, whatever I need help with, she did. She created me some invoices and letterheads and made me all popular.
And that's what I do love the name Tickled Past Pink. So it's such a great name for it because we want to get past that, and I love the fact that it brings a smile to your face for such a heavy time in a woman's life. Because
Right.
as you can tell us, that's not an easy time because something you shared with me while we were talking, you said people just sometimes think that it's over after people go through their radiation or all of that, or even if they have a mastectomy. But you were telling me, and if you don't mind, please share, like you said, some of the things that women can go through, or men, after all of that.
Yeah.
It can still be hard.
It is very hard. And I can share one of the things that, and I don't think I did mention this when we were just talking off, but one of the things is domestic violence. Wow. And we don't realize how many men leave women when women have mastectomies.
Some conversations, not enough.
Oh my God. You don't know how many men mistreat women because they have problems or their bodies are disfigured or something, and we don't know how many men say that they're going to leave the women. They're going to, and it has happened. And so in addition to us trying to help provide resources, then we're having to go and find counselors and get that mental help that these survivors need, because we can't just leave them. So that's why we came up with the idea of getting the pillows and sending them the pillows so they can have something to hold on to, and to really, really make them feel much better and have some self-worth. And that's where, when you and I was discussing earlier, my dear daughter, LaDonna Roberts, her foundation come in. I have had to refer many people of our foundation, our survivors, to her.
Hey, everyone, that's LaDonna Roberts, my very first guest on the podcast that you hear me talk about so often, our Austin Tyler Foundation. Austin Tyler Foundation.
Yeah, but that is one of the things that nobody even think about. She'll do all right. But it's something that I hope the men that listen to this realize that that's a very, very, very it's a precious time in a woman's life, and that she needs more support, not a little bit of support. And women, you are somebody. You are beautiful. You are, regardless of what you have. And I think you saw in my story where I said, my husband, of course, he's older.
I know, he ain't complaining. That part. Yes, that's the blessed part right there.
And here's this will make you laugh too, because if he did, he would just have to leave, and he knows how that is. He did before. So and that was not pleasant. So he just says, okay, I'm fine if you're fine. And he's always concerned about me. So if you're gonna get married, ladies, remember that your bodies may not always be the same. Find somebody that loves you for yourself, for your mind, and not for your body. And that way, when things start breaking down, when you're younger, when you're in your 20s, you don't think about things. You're in your 30s, you think, oh, I got this thing. And 40s and 50s, and then you realize, oh my God, I got to have this surgery, that surgery, or whatever.
Exactly.
You know.
Yeah, that is
So
very important to say.
every
That is
time,
very important.
yes, that mental, nowadays, it is so crazy. People have sat here for 2.5 years
Yes.
and their minds have run away with them. And that's why we're having all the crime and
Yes.
all the stuff we're having. But still, at the end of the day, the breast cancer survivors
They need
need
love.
love. They need
Yes.
support. They need everything. And that's what we, as a foundation, that's what we try to provide. And we know that they have children and that the children need. So we try to help. I mean, there is not any
That y'all don't.
category that you can mention that we don't help in. And if we don't have it,
Yes.
we ask. And I mean, something as we had a survivor that her son wanted to play ball, and she was having a fit because she was having to go in and take chemo and stuff. And she said, I just don't have it, and I want him to do something. And I don't want him to sit here and look at me suffer so much. And I said, no problem. So of course, I picked up the phone, called the church. I didn't call church, I called Deacon Lay J. And I said, look, I got a breast cancer survivor. Her child did not ask for this to happen, but he wants to be able to be involved in doing stuff and play ball. And Deacon Lay J said, well, how much does he need? And I told him, and he said, well, I'll check. I said, can you check with the Noble Warriors and see if they can all chip in and play and help pay for this? And within, it probably wasn't 30 minutes, Deacon LeJay was saying, we got him. Don't worry about him. We'll take care of him. And that meant the world to her.
Of course.
That meant the world to this girl because she had children that was just, there. And all they was doing was standing beside her bed while she lay in the bed, and they don't understand. And they were young. So, I mean, it's not a whole lot of things, but and to somebody else that doesn't even care, I mean, that's not important to them. But
it meant
the world to the person that was trying to heal. And that's one less thing that she had to worry about healing or whatever. Not only that, they made sure they picked the child up and helped take them to practice and did all of that. So she didn't have to worry about
that
it.
they went as far as that.
Yeah.
And let me ask you this here, because I want to keep asking you, ask you as we go back in for sake of time. I know I want to ask more what you do, but tell me this first. I think is very important. I think we mentioned earlier your stance on, since cancer has run through your family, did you all start getting checkups early? Do you recommend getting checkups before what?
Oh, definitely. Definitely. I know my immediate family, all of us was getting mammograms regular. And with the breast cancer, me, just like the other ones, I had no symptoms. I have first cousins that say the same thing. No symptoms. There was no knots, no lumps, no whatever, because I checked every day. So there was no symptoms. And I just happened to go to the doctor. And when they called me back, I was like, see, no, you don't understand. It can't be, because see, I'm still limping from my other surgery. So you can't be telling me this. So now I made sure now. I just didn't take the word and say, oh my God, I didn't fall apart. I was like, I know we did this little x-ray, but we need to do the ultrasound. So we did the ultrasound. They said, Miss McDaniel, it looks like it's still there. No, then I got to have an MRI. So then we did the MRI. And the MRI showed, yeah, it's still there. So I was like, well, okay, then I have to yield and go ahead and have the surgery. Now I said that because, and I know this is part of my story, that I did X-ray, ultrasound, and MRI, and I did things 3 times because you have to do them in 3s. And that was because the X-ray was for the father, the ultrasound was for the son, but the MRI was the
Wow.
Holy Spirit. So I had to have all three
Yes.
to make sure that all three of
Mm.
them agreed that, okay,
Mhm.
this is what I have to have. And then I let them know, now, Father, don't leave me now that
Amen.
I've got this, and you
Amen.
know I do. So my prayer was that I be healed from it. And
Thank God.
I probably, I
Stage
had
2.
stage
Okay.
2
Okay.
breast cancer.
Mhm.
Yes. And I was like,
Mhm.
how did I let this get past stage 1? How did I do? And the other thing was that it was
Mhm.
so ironic that my best friend had to say, called me,
Yeah.
was all upset. And I said, no, I was getting ready to call you, girl. She said, oh, yeah. Oh, what were you going to say? I said, I got cancer. She said, me too. I said,
Yes.
no, it can't be. It don't work
Exactly.
like that.
Exactly.
So she and
Mhm.
I, over the years, we have laughed about
Yes, you can
this.
laugh now. Yes.
And I said, yeah,
Uh-huh.
we can laugh now, but she was stage 3.5. She was
Mm.
almost at stage 4, where they were telling her, oh, we don't know what we can do for you or whatever. And I said, oh no, the devil's a
Amen.
lie. We
Amen to
praying
that.
that
Yes.
away. We are
Yes.
praying
Yes.
that away. So I got better.
Mhm.
She got better. I got better. She got better. I told her, I said, I wonder if we got this, because remember that time in the club? And then we said, no, that wasn't it. Well, no, remember that time we went down the beach? No, that wasn't it. No, remember that time,
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
joked about it.
Yes.
But we were saying, don't it feel good to
Amen.
be alive, to be well, to be healed,
Amen
and to
to
be
that.
saved?
Yes.
But yeah, it's
Yes.
so
And
many
you say that
things.
after
Whew.
going through, you said 43 treatments of radiation, 5 days a week.
Yes, 8.5 weeks,
That
5 days a
and
week.
I love to just sometimes so people can understand. You hear this woman today, again, she doesn't look like what she went through. She doesn't sound like what she went through. And
Oh no.
and you just we always have to put things in perspective, because I witnessed mentioned to you earlier a best friend who went through lung cancer, and to just see what some of what it could do to your body, and what like you said, you felt like you could barely
Mhm.
walk up your stairs. It makes that person weak.
Right.
And yes, and
Oh,
just to
very weak.
see that part from just witnessing it with her, it's not an easy time. And so
No, it is
and
not.
that's
It
why I
is
can see
not.
where your heart is so you are going to make it happen. If they call you or don't call you, you're just going to make it happen. You can tell everyone that she has that go-getter attitude.
I have never stopped serving. I never
Mhm.
stopped serving in my church, in the community, even
Yes,
though I've been down. I've been home the last 10
because of the
months
accident.
from this accident, but I still go as much as I can. I still make sure that our breast cancer survivors are looked after and covered. And thank God we have the
Yes,
sister
that helps.
foundations, because if we didn't,
Exactly.
that helps. Yeah, that
Exactly.
really helps. So I am
Mhm.
just overwhelmed that we are able to, do things for kids. And I mean, and you don't really have to. There's so many things, because people saying, well, I can't
Mhm.
do this because of pandemic or
Yes, you can.
yes, you can.
Mhm.
Yes, you can, because you can send
Mhm.
Cash App, Zelle, PayPal, and things that you can't get out and
Yes,
do, somebody else can. And so we know that all we ask is that you
exactly.
keep supporting us. You,
Mhm.
you keep supporting us, and we'll keep helping people, and we'll keep doing the things that
Yeah.
we need to do. And we've seen so many people come
Yeah.
back, and that's the blessing. That part is the part that makes you, every time you go, you have
Mhm.
one more that get well. And and that's why at all of my shows, I try to make sure that on
Mhm.
the
Mhm.
comedy shows that I sponsor, I always make sure that we recognize, we um l- bring all of the breast cancer
Yes.
survivors to the shows for free.
Wonderful.
They don't have to pay
Wonderful.
to come, and we usually always give
Wonderful.
them a gift.
It's just
So it's just a nice gesture to show them that, hey, we
Exactly.
know what you've been
And
through, and we love
and
you,
that's a
and we
wonderful
have you.
place to
You
be.
know.
And everyone knows who has dealt or interacted with Tickled Past Pink that that's what they're getting. They feel that love. They feel that you embrace them. At least some way you take some load for that minute off of them in whatever way possible, and help out as in whatever way possible.
And that's what we try to do to make it easy for the
Yes.
healing process.
Because
We
that's
do
heavy
that.
already.
And the sponsors, I
Yes.
can't thank them enough. I can't thank the sponsors
Mhm.
enough, because and we, it's kind of like
Yes.
we share the love, because I have sponsors that give, and at the same time, if I can refer them, give them referrals, then
Exactly.
it works out. Then, I mean, they don't mind if they, the one person that I'm going to mention is my good friends
Yes.
Sharon and Harvey Armstrong of State Farm. I mean, not State Farm, Allstate. Everybody know Harvey from the he's a former NFL player, but he has gone through a lot himself. But even no matter what he go through, he and Sharon, I don't care what I do, Sharon said,
Yes. Just
we're
let
gonna
us know.
send you something. If somebody needs insurance, I say, I'm gonna send it to you.
Wonderful.
And they are at the point now, they're like, well, just go in my pocket.
That
What you
look,
want?
I think you have that magic touch, and everybody just like, here you go,
Yeah,
Maxine. It's Tickle Past Pink can have it. They try. Everybody wants to give.
yeah. But understand this, and I say this all the time, is, and I tell anybody, this is not just for the foundation or anything. There is no sense in dealing with somebody and you
Yes.
and being around them and calling them your friend if they
True.
can't do
That
something for
is
you.
so true.
And I say that all the time, because I'm not having
That
anybody
you.
to do anything for me that I can't support, or I can't. My household, my whole house is insured by Ellison
Yes.
Insurance. That's Wayne Ellison. My Wayne he has everything.
Yes.
He's insured my house. Wayne has helped my in-laws house. I mean, he has been a
Yes.
blessing as far as insurance. And he knows that when I say, Wayne, we trying to do this or do that, and he'll say, how much you need now?
But hey, you
But at the same time,
hey,
he's helping me. He's also part of the North Georgia, the
yes.
100
Yes.
Black Men of North Georgia.
He's in the
He's out there
streets.
helping them. He's
Yes.
out there
Yes.
helping the streets. Yeah. So he's
Yes.
also helping. So I am
Yes.
so proud of him, because he knows that I wouldn't deal with him if I wasn't. I told him, I'll
I
just
know.
ask for some of my money
I give
back
it to you every month, every quarter.
every month, so
Exactly.
why not? I have, and I mean, there are so many people in the church
Yes.
that bless us so much, but not
Mm-hmm.
just my foundation. They are
Yes.
blessing a lot of people, and
That's why they're
that's
getting
why they're
blessed.
getting blessed,
Mm-hmm. And
because
let me tell
that's why they're
everybody out
getting
there.
blessed, and not nothing to do with Maxine McDaniel. It's with that God has seen that they are able to help other people,
And
and
let me
that
tell
helps
y'all,
in
if
their
she
healing.
mentions their name, I mean, that means a lot. So if anyone out there feel that they need to contact us, if you're looking for someone for insurance, you're looking for that tea that I know April Smith company does. If you're looking for someone to do speaking engagements in these worlds of breast cancer, domestic abuse, if I can't remember them all, I will go back to Maxine to get that name, and I promise to get those names to you, because you want to be, you want,
Yeah, because I want to
yes, and
recognize my
you
sponsors.
want to get good
I
people that are
really
recommend.
do.
I'm that one. I'm looking for a primary care physician right now, to be honest. So I'm that one always looking for people who can recommend someone good to me. And we're gonna move into something that I know she was working on while at what I have to find out again what point she was dealing with coming out of the breast cancer she dealt with. You mentioned that again, everyone thinks stage 2. We know it's all serious, but you may say, okay, at least it wasn't stage 3 or stage 4, but you still dealt with so much. You talked about how at one morning you woke up with your,
Oh, yes.
I don't want to be so graphic, but you said your right breast had split open. You were covered in blood. You had a
Right.
staph infection after you went to the hospital. Again, this one, she has gone through some things. It wasn't like it was a cakewalk. It's not. It's
Oh,
not.
no, definitely
So
not. Definitely not. And most people, I
anybody.
don't wish that on anybody because nobody, I mean, you're basically talking about this happened once the doctor had diagnosed me and
Mhm,
said I had cancer. Then, of course, you have to start going in for
mhm,
to get ready for pre-op. So I did. I went in that day and um I was they went in, they put needle wires down in you so they can define the area so they know exactly where the cancer is
mhm,
and where to go do the surgery. Well, they put them in, but when I got home, I was fine. And
mhm,
that morning when I woke up, that's when everything
mm,
was like Niagara Falls, blood shooting up in the air. My
yes.
breast had split open, and they
Mhm,
rushed me back to the hospital, and I could hear them. I mean, I could actually hear when they were saying, my doctor came in. I could
uh-huh,
hear him. They thought I couldn't hear when he said, "How did this happen? She
yes,
was fine
uh-huh,
yesterday. What is going on?" And they said that I had caught a
mm,
staph infection. And of course, every so
yes,
often people get staph
mhm,
infections
mhm,
from the hospital. So they had to do
mhm, mhm,
immediate surgery on me then. But then I had to wait because I could not have the breast cancer. Now, mind you, they did the surgery.
mhm,
The
mm,
cancer is still in me, but they had to get me closed
of
back up
course,
and
of
stop the
course.
bleeding and everything. So I had to wait. It was like 6, 7 weeks
Before you even had the
later
surgery.
before I even had. By this time, we done came out of June.
Wow.
We already in August. So on August 5th is when they did the
Mhm,
breast
mhm,
cancer surgery. And mind you, that happened in June, and this was in August that they did the breast cancer surgery. But they had to wait until I healed up to make sure there was no more infection
mhm,
or
mhm.
anything in my body before they touched me again. So then they went back, and that's when they
Wow,
did the breast
wow.
cancer surgery. So after they did that, the doctors came out and they said,
Mhm,
we think we got it all and everything. You're gonna be
mhm.
just fine. We was like, okay, great. Then he says, and then I want you to come in next week and set up for radiation. And I'm like, you said I was fine. Why
Yes.
am I setting up for what? He said, well, ma'am, we just have to do that.
It was
But then what did you do? So anyway, I
yeah,
told you, those
no.
were not good days for me.
And
Those were not good days. I mean, I can tell the
today, but those
story
are
and
not
laugh
good
about it,
days. And let me
but
tell you,
they were
that's
not
why I
good days.
brought it up, Maxine, because
No.
as we move into some other things that you do, and again, for sake of time, and because we're going to try to bring it to a close, but I tell you, I can talk to this lady all day. Maxine, I can't believe, I want people to hear again what all you, some of the things, not all, but what some of the things you had to go through to not know that this wasn't a cakewalk, and just to still to see and hear again what she's about to say next, all that she's doing. Don't give up, keep pushing through, and 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 just know that there's life on the other side of this. But while you were doing all of this, you were in the height of a lot of other things going on in your life. How did you get into producing world and dealing with comedies? I know you talked about it earlier, but you were doing comedy shows, but you also produced for a major gospel uh Stella award winning gospel artist. Tell us about that and how it all and what you were still dealing with at the same time.
Well, actually, I found out after I had decided when Ernest called and asked, could we do it?
And
And I
everyone that's
said,
Ernest
yes. He
Pugh,
said, I'm sorry, Ernest Pugh, gospel artist,
Elder Ernest Pugh.
Elder Ernest Pugh. And I, when he called and said, look, my people are on me that I've got to have, they want me to put this out. I need to put this album out as quick as possible. I need to have an event place to host a party and all. And I was like, oh my God, okay, I can do this for you. I get off the phone like, oh Lord, what did I get into? Okay.
You can tell she's not afraid, everyone.
So, no, I'm not. One of the things that I say, and I say this over and over for the rest of my life, the one thing that I love to do in life is to do things that people say can't be done. That's my greatest love, is to be able to do things that people say cannot be done. Anyway, so I found a place and everything so we could have the event. In the meantime, I'm running back and forth to the doctor. And then that's when I had already had my checkup, he called me back and told me that. And then I was like, I can't have cancer. I got too many other things to do. Because I had stuff to do. I'm like, I know God, he just healed me from this knee surgery. So I know he's not even gonna let nothing like this happen to me. Not my God, No. So when they told me, and I was like, oh my goodness. So we went to the recording. Everything went beautiful. Of course, people have seen the I Need Your Glory video. And the good thing is that a lot of the members of New Mercies are part of that video. I kind of handpicked everybody from about 14 different churches to be part of the video, because I didn't want just all of our New Mercies people. I told him, I said, Ernest, let me tell you something. I said, if I'm moving a little slow, I wanted to tell you something that just happened. And he said, where's that gorgeous smile of yours? And I was like, well, let me tell you what happened. So I told him, and as a matter of fact, Sam Sanders. And, Sam is always there by my side. So, so he said, Maxine, you're going to be all right. I know you are. I said, thank you, Ernest. So Ernest gets on stage and he's up there. He's already sang one song and he's ready to do another. He said, before I go any further, I want us to do something. Everybody stretch your hands towards Sister Maxine. And I was, we was up on like another level where the VIP was with the food and stuff. And
what are you doing?
And I'm looking like, what you doing? And he said, we have got to pray for her right now. We stopped in the middle of his production and prayed.
That's him doing what he know he was truly called to do first. Yeah.
Right. And I told him, thank you so much. And so anyway, so when he found out, that I had gone through the radiation and stuff, he said, Maxine, don't worry about it. We got your hotel already set up. So you'll be at the Stellars. And we got everything, ready for you when you come. And I was like, okay, airfare, whole thing paid, right? I said, Ernest, I can't go. And he said, why? And I said, because I'm taking the radiation. I can't fly. I'm like, how come you can't fly? I'm saying to my doctor, look, I got things to do. I got to be seen. Everybody got to know that I'm in this and know that I'm part of this. How can I, get recognized if, I'm trying to have all this stuff happening to me. And of course, God laughed at me again. I did not get on the plane. I could not go.
Yeah.
So, but hey, we still got
amen to that.
You all right. So hey,
and
we
so
all right.
With your production company, tell us. Your production company is called GG 20% Productions. So, and I was about to ask you, why is that the name? Yes.
Why the 20%? Because everything I did and everything I went through, they were saying, well, you're only going to be, you're going to be 20%. We can guarantee you that you're going to be 80% of you, you'll be, your body will be okay and all that. Wow. I was like, 80? But you said all the cancer's gone, so how come I can't be 100%? And the doctor says, well, we can't, predict miracles and everything, but 80% after the first surgery and this surgery, that you'll be okay. And so I said, I need
Mhm.
20% from somewhere. So that's why I named it GG
Wow.
20% production. God's got. That's what GG stands
God's
for.
got.
God's got
Mm, I
20%
love that. And everyone, like
production.
I love to say, a lot of people who start businesses, wonderful, but sometimes when you are pushed into some of these purpose and it turns into businesses, I love when it has a meaning like that behind it. That is so powerful to you.
Well, I didn't have much
Yeah, you
choice
were
in it,
pushed
but
into it. Yeah.
he gave it to me. So yeah,
Yes.
yeah, I was pushed into a lot because I was
Yes.
just doing the comedy shows. I wasn't planning on
Yes.
having extra stuff,
Mhm.
So that kind of came out okay. The good thing that of
Mhm.
this whole thing is that I already knew how to do the producing
Yes.
and how to put the shows together. So when I got cancer, it only gave me another
Yes.
avenue to follow. All I had, instead of just doing it for everything, I could do it
Exactly.
for breast cancer. So where normally when I do the shows, when like if the churches and things, about 80%
So
of my
churches can
clients
call
are
you
churches.
still to this day, of course, asking you to put on a
Yeah.
comedy
Oh yeah.
show
Oh, no
or
doubt.
what.
No doubt.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. We do them not just for churches, we do them for
Okay.
fraternities, sororities, for
Mhm.
family reunions, for
Oh, great. Great.
anniversaries, for whatever. Yeah, whoever want to have something, they just
Exactly.
call and we get it done. We get it done. And then we got those churches that they do them annually.
Okay.
They do annual comedy shows. Like one of the nicest ones we do is
Mhm.
every year we get to go to Virginia to Pastor Will Maxwell. I don't know if you remember, Will was at
I
New
don't
Birth when we were
remember.
all at New Birth. Will was
Okay.
he was the head
Mhm.
schoolmaster, headmaster of the school. And when
Mhm.
he left and went to Virginia, and they called him to pastor. So every year we go
That's
to Virginia to do a
wonderful.
show at
And
his
that's that
church.
great connection. And like you said, and you said striving
Hmm.
to
Hmm.
empower and provide clean comedy shows for just what people want out there.
Right.
That's what's on her card, everyone I'm reading. And that is wonderful,
Yeah.
all the work that you're doing and continue to do. So let me ask you this today. With everything you've gone
Hmm.
through, if what kind of words of encouragement you can offer somebody, a young a male or female that's out there that just heard those four words? You have breast cancer, or I'll just say you have a form of cancer. What kind of words of encouragement would you like to offer them?
I tell them the same thing that I
Mhm.
said to myself when I first got it. I said, I know there's a God. I said, I believe in
Mhm.
God. I still believe in God. But the main thing is that you have to
Mhm.
be faithful. If you are a person that's skeptical of all this, everything,
Mhm.
but this and but that, and I'll give it to you easy. My doctor told me when I was saying, but what if this happened? But what if that happened? He said, the only thing that you can do with a but is sit on it. He said, if you heard nothing else I've
Yes.
said to you, Miss McDaniel, remember that the only thing you
I
can do
love
with a
that.
but is sit on it. He said, I
Mm.
hope you choose to walk. And I said, I choose to walk. Not only
Wow.
that, I chose to live. And in your mind, you must
Mhm.
say, I choose to live. And if you choose to live, God will give you that will. I'm not saying that
Yeah.
everybody
Mhm.
that get it will live. I mean, we know that,
Yes.
there's things that happen. But if you say, I choose to live, then everything that comes along with that,
Exactly.
you have to accept. I choose to live because I want to see my family. I choose to
Um,
live because I have children. I choose to live because I like my work. I choose to live because I want to go back in my
mm,
church and serve. I choose to live because I deserve it. I don't need to worry about dying because
mm,
Jesus already
mhm.
did that for us on the cross. And that's why The rest of it
Exactly.
should come easy.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I will say to you, it was, yeah, I
Mm-hmm.
was real mad
Of
and
course.
upset because I'm like, I'm
Mm-hmm.
trying to
Mm-hmm.
live right and do everything. And all of a sudden, all this stuff happening to me. Why? And I know
Yes.
why, as I shared with you earlier, is because who do I think I am that
Yeah.
I can't go through
Of course.
something for God? Jesus already
Mm-hmm.
died on the cross for all of us so
Mm-hmm.
that we can continue to live and we can continue to have a time in our life
Exactly.
that we can get it right. He already paid the cost, so we have to get it right. We
Yes, we
got
do.
more time to get it right. And if we get it right, God's going to
Mm-hmm.
give it to us. He's going to give us health. He's going to give us wealth.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to give us knowledge. And
It
all
makes
those
a
things
difference.
make a difference.
Wow. Let me tell you, normally I'm not going to end it here because I still want to say one or two things, but that can end the show. Trust me, because it's a lot. It's not a lot more to say from a person who's walked this walk and can encourage someone else to who may have hear those words. And it can go for anything we're going through in our lives, to be honest. If you're going through a divorce and that's hard for you, or someone who's come out of domestic abuse, or someone who's lost a job, I love your words of encouragement. So let me ask you this. Tell us again, how can we, the events you have coming up, how can we donate to Tickled Past Pink, and how can we connect with you? But let's just start with, how can we donate to Tickled Past Pink to support you?
We do have a PayPal account. It's called Tickled Past Pink
Mhm.
Found, FOUN. PayPal, it's paypal.me/tickled past
Mhm.
pink
Okay.
found, FOUN.
Okay. And that's
We also
Mhm.
you can also do Cash App, and it's just $
Maxine.
Maxine McDaniel.
Okay.
Right. And then we have also $
Mhm.
GG Gourmet,
Mhm.
GOURMET. And then let's see, I think oh yeah,
Okay.
we have Zelle also.
Mhm.
And the Zelle number is 847-650-9901.
Mhm.
And I'll repeat that. 847-650-9901. The name on that Zelle is our other board member, Glenda McDonald. The Cash App for GG Gourmet, that is Janice Harris. Excuse me, Chef Janice Harris.
Uh-huh.
Yes, and she has she does a lot of catering, and her new company is Gigi's Kitchen.
Tell us your how can people connect with you on social media or website?
On social media, it is under the Tickled Past Pink
Okay.
Foundation Inc. That's the Facebook page. And then my Facebook page is Maxine Simmons
Okay. And you
McDaniel.
and you don't have a website. It's you go through social media.
We are in the process of
Okay.
building a new website. Every time we talk to somebody, we say, "Oh, we're doing a website over." But I know the person listening knows that we're going to be doing the website again.
So it's coming. Just be ready.
It's coming. It's coming. I
And so,
promise
Maxine, if
it's
someone wants
coming.
to connect with you to speak at their event, they can contact you in all of those social media as well, because you do speak to, you will go out and speak as well on these topics.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh yes. Oh yes. I've done
And
it.
please,
I've done
everyone,
it.
you would want her. I mean, she has the personality, and just like Ernest Pugh said, she has a beautiful smile. So, I mean, those are that come second to the knowledge and the information and the heart of this. I kept calling her a queen after I read her stories, and to this beautiful woman, and you couldn't go wrong.
I can give my number if they want the number. It's
Mm-hmm.
404 641-4463.
Okay.
But our next
Mhm.
big event will be
October
October 1st. Hopefully there will be the event center holds 1,000, and when
Mhm.
because of COVID, we were restricted to like
Mhm.
400 and 450. So our last show
Mhm.
we had that many. So we're gonna have at
Yeah,
least
at least
500.
500. So, and
And we have
mhm.
vendors. So anybody that want to sponsor or be a vendor can, but usually I have a list of
Yes.
preferred vendors that I use, so that and I do just want to thank everybody for
Mhm.
everything, because without the
You couldn't
vendors we
make it.
couldn't make it either, because their funds, yeah, they
Of course.
provide resources, and that offsets a lot of
Mhm.
our
Yes.
expenses, and so that makes
And you
for a
said
big
that
difference
for that
in
for that event coming up in October, you will be accepting additional vendors that may come in or sponsors that want to help out during and okay.
Sure,
And they can start
sure.
looking at that information coming what maybe around September, August, September.
No, actually, the information will probably go out the first
Okay.
week of
Yeah, it makes sense.
July.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah, 3 months at
yeah,
least in
we need
advance.
we need a good
Yes.
months, like, yeah, for advertising and stuff. So it will probably go out the 1st of July. So everybody, anybody that wants to be a sponsor, um, we could use the
Yes.
sponsorship. Please let us know,
Yes.
reach out to us. And we have sponsor forms and everything that we send out. All donations are tax deductible. We are a
Okay.
501(c)(3) org.
Wonderful. That's wonderful. And I will definitely, if I post this, if this airs around that mid-June, it'll be in time at least for July, if unless I hold it to July, just so we can announce it, around the same time you start sending out your information. So that is great.
Oh yeah, I will. I'll send
Yes.
you a
And I'll be
copy either
asking for that
way,
again.
for it.
And
When
so
you get
let me tell you this, everyone.
right.
We're going to end the show. I know I can't go without her seeing if she wants to. Is there anything I didn't ask that you would want to share and or thank the 100,000,001 people? Is there, because I believe they deserve that too, but is there anything that you want to share or add that I didn't ask, and or to thank the people, because I know that's your heart?
I just want to thank all of the sponsors. I can't even
Mhm.
call all of your names, but you guys know who you are, and you guys know that you make up our show. And it also provides so many
Mhm.
resources to people. I keep saying, and I've said this over and over again, and everybody around me has heard this. Your blessings comes
Mm.
from serving. You have got to give of yourself before you can receive something. So please, if you can, donate to our foundation. It is a
Mhm.
worthy foundation. And I want to thank all of those who sit on the board of directors of our foundation. Elder Robert Pierce, his wife Faustina Pierce, Janice Harris, Chef Janice Harris of GG Kitchen, Carmilla Wilson, Glenda McDonald, Kimberly Gross Turo, and my handsome son, Cortez McDaniel.
Wonderful. Let me tell you, everyone, I knew she needed to have this time to do that because, like I say, when we talked, I knew she was calling everyone whose name she called, and she did call some more. I know that she's been calling your name since I've spoken to her, and that just, I knew I chose the right person. I just wanted to be on here because it 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 just, I love to see that person when you feel like you think you know, not that I didn't know her again, but it just shows the heart of this person, and I'm just thankful to be connected with her and her organization. If there's anything I can do from the Path podcast and from Arlene, I'm going to do it because I want to always support. I've already told her in what way I would want to help, and she knows that already. And I just want to say, let me tell you some things that she did not share. Maxine has won many awards, and I only bring that up because she talks about everybody else. She's a 2021 Rice Award winner. It's the RICE. She is a 2021 Women of Honor Community Service Award winner, 2019 Gospel Music Choice Community Service Award winner, 2019 Atlanta Braves Diamond of Hope Breast Cancer Community Service Award winner, 10-year Breast Cancer Survivor Thriver, 2018 Outstanding Achievement Awards by Atlanta Comedians, 2016 Trinity Nonprofit State of Georgia Outstanding Citizen Award for Community Service, 2016 the Perseverance Award Riot Starter Symposium nominee. And let me tell you, I only brought that up because she kept preaching serve. She kept talking serve. She kept thanking everyone. And she would say everyone's name she called that they got this award as well. But I just needed everybody to hear that. So I want everybody out there to donate to this worthy cause. Your money is not going to go just sit. This woman is out there doing more than, again, I tell some people I feel lazy. I got so much work to do. So your money is going to go to a good cause. She's going to make sure. And if there's anyone who just looking to serve, I'm pretty sure she may need volunteers for something one day. If you got a young person, bring them out. Let us get with her to find out. She will point us to someone else probably if they need help, if she can't do something, offer anything at that moment. But I can't see where this lady here won't have something going on. In the end, I read again, I'm going to say, Maxine says she lives to serve. And she pulls that from Psalms 48. I delight to do thy will. In life, she says, we're either going through a storm, just entering a storm, or leaving a storm. If you were not inspired by this conversation, I don't know what will. There are a lot of people doing business, but this lady is doing a business with a purpose. One thing I love, and I'm going to end it here, is something I started singing the song after I read her one of her favorite songs. And if you all out there, you know this song. If not, look it up. It said, Lord, don't you move the mountain. Just give me the strength to climb. Lord, don't move my stumbling block, but lead me all around. And Maxine, I had to go back and I found some of the other words that said, and it said, our cares we bring unto you. You told us, Lord, that we could. You promised to help those who help themselves. And I believe that you will have mercy, Lord. Another verse in that song, and I see why you chose this, is the way may not be easy. You didn't say it would. For when our tribulations get too light, we tend to stray from thee. Have mercy on me. And it just, again, Lord, don't move the mountain. Just give me the strength to climb. I had to go back and hear the song because I grew up on that song, first of all, from church. And I see why. Well, so again, true. I want to thank you, Maxine, for your time. It's been a pleasure. And you are welcome always. If you have something to say, you're welcome on the Path Podcast.
Thank you so much. And thank you.
Until next time, everyone. Thank you, everyone, for hanging with us. Don't forget to subscribe and leave a review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and other platforms, so you can stay up on our bi-weekly real conversations with these bold women. You can follow the Path Podcast on Facebook at the Path Podcast and on Instagram and Twitter at the Path_podcast. And if you would like to be a guest on the show or have questions for a future show, you can email us at thepath4ward@gmail.com. That's thepathforward@gmail.com. And if you're looking for a speaker or you're in need of a life coach, please reach out to me. Again, at thepathforward@gmail.com or at ACKORLEH@gmail.com. Thank you. Until next time.